everybody. Welcome back to the Mysterious Pal Show. My name is Chris, and it is a hot one out there, but we got the coolest one I know in here. Jordan, welcome to the show.
What's up?
Welcome back to another episode in the Summer of Sea Monsters.
Woo! We need one of those air horns.
Yeah, I'll put it in the end, like the back, in post. They call it in the biz. Well, we are here in a hot summer day to talk about sea monsters.
Yeah. Summer of Sea Monsters.
Summer of Sea Monsters. I can't wait. I'm so happy we're here. My favorite summer ever. What do you remember doing in your summers from school? Like, did your brother go out and your friends go out and build forts or something in the woods, or
we would
when
walk?
You were wee tot?
Yeah, I remember a lot of times we'd see how far we could go down the creek.
Okay.
Kind of ran through a couple of neighborhoods by us, so we'd see how far we could go, how deep it went. That was always.
Wait, was it like a sewer runoff, like rain?
I hope not.
No, like a rain runoff type of thing, where they just funneled all the water into it from the streets, or was it like an actual creek?
I think it was a natural one. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
It got deep, really deep in some parts.
You got some crawfish or something in there?
No, nothing cool.
That was your summer. That was your summer rememberings.
Yeah. First one that came to mind was that
smell of rain.
I remember staying up a lot later. That was really cool. Like really late and sleeping in really late.
Did you ever have a tree house or anything like that? Like a clubhouse?
No.
That the rascals weren't running around like those guys?
I don't think we did, no.
I remember
kind of a bummer.
Growing up, me and my friends would always go out and especially in middle school, we would just get lost for the entire day. And we'd just be hanging out on train tracks.
I'd say you guys do that.
Walking the train tracks a lot.
Throw stuff off of them.
Yeah. Some of our days were just spent collecting things to throw off big train track trestles and stuff. Not on the roads, but onto other train tracks or in the woods. Yeah. We built bike jumps sometimes.
That's cool.
We would build forts in the woods, tree houses.
We ever built one? Were they actually stable?
Well, yeah. I mean, most of the stuff we stole from our parents' house, old wood and stuff. Okay. So it's whatever we get our hands on. And then, after a week, we'd forget about that place and build another one or something. Or, some guy would be like, what the hell are you doing on my land? And knock it down. The train track people, they did not like building forts next to, on their property. It's all owned by them. But it's a lot of stuff out there you can do. I remember I don't know, it's probably we were in middle school, maybe 8th grade, 9th grade, something like that, going to 9th grade. Our one friend lit a mattress on fire that was laying next to the train tracks. And then to put it out, he jumped on it, which just made it worse because he's feeding the fire. It was so stupid. I didn't catch anything else on fire because it was next to a creek. It wasn't in woods. It was just on next to the train tracks. I'm surprised we never ran any of the cool stuff you find next to train tracks. A lot of weird stuff out there.
Yeah, hobo camps.
Yeah.
Speaking of fire, I remember we would one summer we lit doused gasoline that we have for the lawnmower. We doused gasoline on tennis balls and Nerf balls and smack them around our yard.
Really?
So that was pretty
fun.
Pretty dumb.
Oh, that was real dumb.
Yeah. That was real dumb.
I remember middle school, my friends would get on this, lived on this one street that was a huge hill coming down, and it had this real sharp turn, not a sharp turn, but it had a turn at the one end, and then went down and keep on going down. So we'd take our big wheels and stuff. This is a middle school, and bikes, and we go to the top of the hill.
Right.
And you can, it was like Mario Kart. So we'd grab crab apples on the way up, whatever you could hold, you could throw. It was so stupid because when you hit that curve, there was a telephone pole right there, and people would always slam into it.
Jeez.
Because it was hard to turn a big wheel, especially whenever you're a middle school kid and they're made for 3rd grade.
Oh, they can't take speed like that, so they're wobbling.
They just slide. They don't on asphalt. Yeah, someone would always hit that. Some kid would always try to ride his bike with no hand to throw them, and he would always fall. But we'd only do it once or twice because such a far walk up the hill.
Yeah,
and then people were like, "Dude, get out! Stop doing this. This is super dangerous."
We did because we were allowed to be out later, but I remember we used to do the old ding dong ditch.
Oh yeah,
little ring and rung.
Now they have cameras. You can't do that anymore. No, unless you wear a mask.
Yeah.
Then it's just messed up.
You get shot.
Yeah, that's true. They have we did a lot of dumb growing up, being out graders, 7th graders, 6th graders. We'd be out running around. 9th graders where we could drive. We'd always like run around, do dumb stuff, middle of the night.
Wait, 9th grade? You're driving in 9th grade?
No, before we had cars, before we could start driving. You know, we were still riding bikes everywhere.
Wow.
And then we got a car and we're like, screw this bike.
Yeah.
This is stupid. And then things got really boring.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about
boring.
We're not here to talk about the summer of yore. Is that what it means? I don't know what yore means.
Yeah, I think you did it right.
The days of summer. The dog days of summer.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the word yore.
Good. So what do we got? So this week, again, this is the
Old
summer of
word.
sea monsters. So we're going to talk about a sea monster.
Yeah.
And what monster did you bring with us this week,
well,
Jordan?
Speaking of yore, an old timey talk, we're going to start this one off with a sonnet, apparently is what this is called. The poem.
Poetry?
But apparently it's a sonnet.
What's the difference between a sonnet?
No clue.
Is that the 7575?
Is that haiku?
Okay, maybe that's haiku. What's a sonnet?
No idea. But, you know, I figured it's a great way to start off a podcast.
Yeah, something we have no idea what it is.
There we go. Below the thunders of the upper deep, far, far beneath in the abysmal sea, his ancient, dreamless, uninvaded sleep, the kraken sleepeth. Faintest sunlights flee about his shadowy sides, above him swell huge sponges of millennial growth and height. And far away into the sickly light, from many a wondrous grot and secret cell, unnumbered and enormous polypi. Polypi. When now with giant arms, the slumbering green, there hath he lain for ages, and will lie, battering upon huge sea worms in his sleep. Until the latter fire shall heat the deep, and once by man and angels to be seen, in roaring he shall rise, and on the surface die. Now, what any of that means, I have no idea.
I mean, it seems like right now it should be like thundering, like you were summoning something, and like thundering and like rain coming down, the lights turned down low.
Right, yeah.
I can't do that right now. Maybe I can do it in the video, but
so that's a sonnet. Apparently, it's called, written by Alfred Lord Tennyson in 1830.
Okay.
Now it's about a kraken. I'm assuming it's a metaphor for something else.
So this week we're talking about
the kraken.
The kraken.
We're gonna raise it. All right. So we're talking about the kraken. So yeah, like I said, I'm assuming this means it's a metaphor, which will go about later in the possible theories of what the kraken is. Yeah, we're talking about the kraken, also called croc or cracky. I don't know.
Cracky.
Krake, crake or cracky.
Cracky.
Crabben, craxen, sky kraken, and crabfish. Seems kind of lame.
Sky kraken can be terrifying.
Yeah. It just rains sky krakens.
Or like the tentacles are coming out of the sky.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Kind of like is that Cthulhu?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, the kraken is a legendary colossal sea creature, probably one of the more famous ones. Its tentacles or arms could grab ships whole and drag them beneath the sea. There's also that they had the ability to produce maelstroms, which are like massive whirlpools that could swallow up an entire ship and its crew.
Maelstrom.
Maelstrom. Because it's like a massive whirlpool.
Like a storm in the world?
No, just like a...
I think whirlpools are the most terrifying thing. But they're also not... I don't think they're technically real. Like, what is a whirlpool? Like, it comes to be like being in the ocean.
Seems weird, right?
Yeah, like unless it's like draining into something, like your bathtub.
Right.
So like the ocean would have to be draining into something.
I don't understand how that works.
Is there any like documented like cases of like a whirlpool pulling a ship down?
I don't know.
You continue with your... I'll look it up.
Yeah,
you look with
your...
whatever you're chatting on about it.
Boring. All right. So when you think of the kraken, man, what do you attribute that to? Like
an octopus?
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah. So yeah, the kraken's origins are often misattributed to Greek mythology. I think it's because Clash of the Titans. You ever see that movie? Either like the old one, or I think it's from, what is it, 1981? I know there's that newer one that came out in 2010.
Clash of the Titans, and there was a second one, like...
Yeah, the remake did a Clash of the Titans and then did Wrath of the Titans.
Okay.
And in both movies, Zeus has Poseidon famously, and he shouts, "Release the Kraken."
Okay.
To like attack people. But apparently, in this movie based on Perseus, whole Greek mythology thing. But in the mythology of it, like the Greek mythology, it wasn't an actual kraken. The kraken that term wasn't invented yet. There's some monster called a cetus or cetus,
okay.
Cetus, and that the Greek myth of Perseus, he fights this. It's actually like more of a serpentine fish or like a whale. But in the movie and in the Greek mythology, he uses Medusa's head, cuts off Medusa's head, and uses it to like turn the kraken to stone in the movies.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought. Okay.
I think
a kraken is like. Kraken's that big?
Well, that's the thing. That's not like in the actual myth of it. The kraken wasn't around yet. Like that wasn't invented yet. I'll go into what it's actually from.
More modern.
Yeah. So those movies, I think that's kind of the reason why people are like, oh, the Kraken's Greek. Because I think those movies. Also, and you mentioned Pirates of the Caribbean, the Kraken also, it's attributed to, the golden age of pirates because of that movie, I feel like. A lot of people think that.
Because of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But there really wasn't a thing where pirates aren't really.
I think it eventually did. Like the origins weren't from the golden age of piracy because like that's the Caribbean. Where this Kraken comes from, it's actually a Scandinavian invention.
Okay, so I always think it's weird that there's like a mythology wrapped up in the story of pirates, where you have like Davy Jones's locker. Is that just more of like a modern thing that they kind of attributed to it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Like Davy Jones and like.
I think Davy Jones is a real pirate though, wasn't he?
But like
real life.
And like what's that?
But the locker thing though, there's like.
What's the guy with the tentacle face?
Is that Davy Jones? I like those first two movies, man. They were good.
I like the first one. I don't remember
the
this.
third one. I think the third one was not great.
There was a fourth one, isn't there? And there's a fifth
like 5.
one? Is there another one?
Davy Jones, actor and singer. No, that's not.
Yeah, of course you change your name.
Yeah, his name was Davy Jones, but I forgot. Did he go by a different name in the movie though? Like when he becomes the octopus face guy? Maybe not.
No, I mean like that was like Davy Jones's locker. Like, isn't that what it's from, or is it? What's a thing that they put his heart in? Is that another thing? That's his locker.
Was it the locker, or was it Kraken in the locker?
No, the Kraken just came up. He like summoned it.
So this is the first thing that came up for Davy Jones' locker. Davy Jones' locker is a metaphor for the oceanic abyss.
Okay.
The final resting place of drowned sailors and travelers.
What's it?
It's euphemism for drowning.
What's his ship called? Like it was like
Flying Dutchman.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there is whirlpools. They occur temporarily. It's when cold, heavier water slides under warm, lighter water. Rapid ocean currents are formed, the intensity of which depends on multiple factors. So it's like, I guess, colder water is heavier, so it like falls beneath quickly. Whenever really hot water and cold water meet. The famous one is the record-setting Saltstromen whirlpool. There's also another one in the Norwegian Sea. There's one. Okay, the biggest one is the record-setting one is between Deer Island and Moose Island in Canada. It's called the Old.
Of course, that's in Canada.
That's the name of their. That's the name of their islands.
That's nice.
The Old Sow is what it's called. Is one of the largest whirlpools in the Western Hemisphere, reaching a diameter of 76 meters.
This is like, is it constantly happening, or just like the one time kind of thing, or is that like a frequent thing?
There's also one. There's also another one, another well-known one in called the Naruto Tidal Whirlpool, 20 meters, and it's off the coast of Japan between two islands. There's another one off the west coast of Scotland and another one in Norway. So it seems like, again, colder waters meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this one.
Oh, you said one's in Norway, you said.
Yes. So it is like it does pull stuff down.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. I figured it was like two things, like a void opening, like a cavern, and all of a sudden water's rushing in. So did you ever see that video? So off topic. You ever see that video of like, it's in New York, I think upstate New York, and it was like back in like 1900s, early 1900s. Like a mine underneath a lake opens up and it sucks everything down. And it's actually, because there's video of it, it's actually a lot newer than 1800s. But yeah, it's like might have been like the 60s or 50s then. But like all of a sudden all this stuff starts, getting sucked into this big mine that get opened up underneath a pond, like a lake.
Okay.
Everything gets sucked down.
Jeez.
It's really crazy. I think it's in color, so actually it's probably. Like, I'm dumb. Like, anyway.
So there.
I'll show you later.
So that's just fiction, but there's other legendary sea creatures that often get lumped in with the Kraken. Like the people like, oh, that's the Kraken, but it's not. There's two Greek ones, a Greek myth, Scylla or Scylla, Scylla, and her counterpart, Charybdis.
Charlie Bittis?
Charybdis.
Charlie Bittis? Why is Charlie biting us?
Both of who are talked about in Odyssey. I guess they're on opposite sides of the strait, and they both can create whirlpools, but they're again not the Kraken. This is
so it's like a monster that creates a whirlpool?
Yeah.
I did research that one.
Yeah, they're two. They're like counterparts. So like they're on both ends of a strait, and I think apparently that's where like the saying or between a rock and a hard place comes from or something like that.
And so like
screwed either way you go.
When I understand that Charlie bit us, it's like a monster under the water that creates a whirlpool to suck things into his mouth.
Yeah. Both of them do that.
Okay, they're both like that.
There's also the Leviathan, which is the biblical Leviathan. Oftentimes that's attributed to being the Kraken, but it's not.
That's a sea serpent.
Yeah. But they're all big sea creatures, monsters. That's kind of where that ends, because a lot of those are either human-like, whale-like, dragon-like, or snake-like. The Kraken is not. Furthermore, sightings or mentions of those other creatures have fizzled out over time, whereas the legend of the Kraken and fear of it has lived on. The Kraken's origins actually stem from Nordic or Scandinavian lore.
Of course.
Which I did not know that. I, for some reason, thought it was always like Greek or pirate kind of thing.
A pirate kind of thing.
Pirate kind of thing. And again, it's either Nordic or Scandinavian, and so I didn't know. I use those words synonymously. I didn't know there's a difference.
You know the difference between Norway and Scandinavia?
No, Nordic and Scandinavian.
Is Nordic specifically Norway?
No.
Is that just another grouping?
So Scandinavian means the countries of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden.
Okay.
Nordic means Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Iceland. And there's a Scandinavian peninsula, which is Norway, Sweden, and the northwestern part of Finland.
So wait, Scandinavia is not an actual country?
No, it's like a region.
Never knew that.
I knew that, but for some reason I thought like Scandinavian and Nordic were like synonymous, but they're not.
I thought it was the same place. I thought it was like one country. I'm like, yeah, Sweden, Scandinavia. Like, sorry.
I think
Scandinavia.
The first mention of a Kraken was written in about 1180 CE. It was mentioned by a Norwegian king named Severi. He claimed to see it while he was out at sea. Didn't really describe it, but he was like, there's something out there. It's believed that the Kraken roamed the seas between Norway and Iceland, and then between Iceland and Greenland, so kind of like both those areas in that general area. There were two other similar creatures, which you talked about in last week's episode that kicked off our summer of sea monsters, that are almost as old as the Kraken in Scandinavian folklore. Hafgufa, which I think you talked about, yeah, and which is sea mist, and Lingbacker, which is heatherback. They were featured in the 13th century saga Ovar Odur. Those, again, these are kind of get attributed to being the Kraken as well, but the Kraken, I guess, is considered a little bit older.
He's just like, what? Why everybody got to steal my stuff?
But all three of these are considered the size of an island, which I think you talked about. Well, no, like they would land on there and then suddenly start sinking.
Yep.
In about 1250 CE, I mentioned the Kraken was in the Konungs Skudja, was a Norwegian work of science. In this book, it said only two Kraken exist at once.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Because they couldn't reproduce. That's one. And for two, and the second reason is they need so much food that only those two could survive. They eat so much food.
Nice. Maybe humanity is the Kraken. Like a spin. The Kraken Dead, like the Walking Dead spinoff. We're all the Kraken. Spoiler for that show.
This work also describes the Kraken's feeding habits. claiming it traps surrounding fish by stretching its neck and releasing food from its mouth with a belch. You can just burp really loud and just like regurgitate food.
Cool.
Which would bring in fish. They can just swallow those. Other accounts suggest the beast emitted a strong and peculiar scent. Or...
You smell underwater?
No. I don't think so, right?
I guess it would hurt. You're like,
it's just breathing in water. You're drowning yourself.
I'm going to say something to someone. Hey, what's underwater smell like? Ask my nephew or someone to go check it out for me.
Didn't they figure out what space smelled like? It wasn't like blueberries or raspberries and some other thing?
No, it's burnt steak. Because they can't. How
do they figure that out?
Ask astronauts, hey, what it smell like?
But they're in their suits when they're outside of their ships. Maybe they're just smelling their own farts.
I think what it becomes down to is
cabbage.
I think the one thing that I watched a documentary on this about this guy who basically smells stuff for NASA. Like there's multiple people do this.
His job is to do
that. Because when when they send stuff up into space, it can't have any noxious odors because there's no air to get rid of it. So like if something smells really bad, there's nothing, there's no fresh air coming in.
Oh man, that'd be a great job.
But I think the word is that it tastes like burnt steak. I don't know how they would know that. Like you said, like
how do you?
Oh. Maybe when you're up there, you're like, oh. Anyway,
why does that happen? What causes that? It's been doing it all day.
You're low on sugar or something.
Is it? Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird.
I'm not a doctor. Oh wait, I am a doctor, but not a good doctor. I'm
not that kind of doctor.
I'm not a helpful doctor.
All right, so
a useful doctor.
So apparently, the thing smelled. And sometimes it may actually crap when it wants to feed. By doing it just like either like belch and regurgitate food, lure in fish, or just crap.
I had fish growing up. I know they eat crap all the time.
Yeah.
There's like that one sucker fish.
Yeah. You know, like the cloud of poop in the ocean, which would attract.
Run the other way when you see that, everybody.
Well, that apparently becomes a thing. This crap would attract the fish, thus allowing it to eat.
I mean, a kraken is so big. Would it be like the size of a boat?
Man, yeah.
You're like, oh, look at that log.
Yeah. It just looks like a boat.
And that's how we got Hawaii.
Many believe that before the kraken would surface, massive amounts of fish would appear.
Okay.
For many, this is a warning sign for the seamen to leave if they're in that area. Because like, oh, what are all these fish doing here? They're just, crap, and they'd see all this like brown stuff coming up, and like all these fish would be like feeding on, and like these fish came out of nowhere all of a sudden.
There's there must be something like there has to be like a analogy for that, like, oh, like it's so look, all of a sudden it's super bountiful, but we have to get out of here because it's just like
I didn't think about that.
Like a bountiful harvest, but then like if you take too much, you're gonna get eaten by the kraken.
Greedy, like you get a little greedy.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that. I mean, look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I'm a doctor.
You're old poet Chris.
Yeah, I sonnet that out. That's a sonnet right there.
I sonnet the hell out of that.
I sonnet that, somebody.
So it'd be almost like a bad omen if they saw like massive amounts of fishes surface all of a sudden, because that means a kraken was right behind them. But others who would see these fish would tempt fate and be like, I'm going to catch all these fish, and like make a bunch of money off of this. These people were fortunate enough to get away with the ones who told the tales of the kraken, apparently. Because like usually, as everyone knows, a kraken, according to legend, would attack ships and drag it to the surface along with its crew. And
it's a big octopus, maybe.
Yes.
In modern media,
yeah.
we think of it as a giant octopus.
Yes. And we'll go into like how this, through the centuries, it starts taking shape in a different way than all these other sea creatures. Like I said, because I'm like might have been whales or like serpent snake looking like things, but this goes on a different little path than these other ones.
Because if you think about like all these fish coming up, could be whale. That's how they feed. A school of fish. But like at the same time, I don't know. Like what's the killer whales? They do that thing where they spin them around and
the orcas.
They like corral them and then they eat.
Like
fish, kind of like something like that.
Apparently, I know I've read it in somewhere, but it feels more appropriate to say it here. Some guys were even like, or seamen were even like crazy enough to actually like jump on the kraken.
Well, you have to. I'm not leaving without knowing what the hell this thing is.
which just seems crazy. And I guess if you said its name Kraken, it would just like let you go and go back down the depths.
It's like high five you.
Yeah.
Like, all right, bro.
You got it. You got me.
You got me.
That'd be like, I wouldn't do that, man.
Jump on them and like, what do you do?
Yeah. I'm going to just ride the tentacles. Because what was in that game we were playing for a long time? Where the Kraken would appear, it would get like really dark in the...
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. It'd get like really ominous and like the sound would change and like...
Yeah.
To pick you up and throw you around. That was terrifying.
Yeah, but like it could be like one of those.
You never actually see. You just see its arms, right?
Yeah, but it could be one of those things like what's that movie that came out recently where they ride the big sandworms?
Oh
Dune.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like one of those things. You can ride the Kraken.
Yeah.
That Timothy Chalamet. Like, oh, look at that tasty dish right there, riding that.
A tasty dish, riding a Kraken.
Yeah. So dreamy.
So, like I said, it wasn't until centuries later, however, the description of the Kraken became more fleshed out and became more of a global legend. Again, its first mention of it is in 1180 by a Norwegian king. It wasn't until the turn of the 18th century. What's the 18th century, Chris? What years are we talking there?
17?
Yeah.
Hundreds? Like you add one or you take one away. I can't remember.
The turn of the 18th century, Francesco Negri was an Italian priest and travel writer. He provided one of the earliest descriptions of the Kraken in his travelogue. Here we go. Viaggio Settentrinale. Sure. Negri portrayed the Kraken as a multi-horned fish with numerous arms, distinguishing it from the sea serpent.
Okay.
Like the sea serpent was a thing that's apparently seen in this area as well.
So it was a multi-armed fish.
Multi-horned fish.
Multi-horned
numerous
fish.
arms.
Numerous arms. So
Yep.
both. Multi-horned and armed.
Yep. That's kind of the first thing you're like, oh, what is this thing that if it's not a...
Then it's just an octopus.
Right.
Well, I mean...
The horns, which is interesting. Not long after that,
suck.
a Dano-Norwegian...
A what?
Dano-Norwegian. So at one point, Denmark and Norway were one. Like,
Oh, a
unified
Dane.
thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
He was a missionary named Hans Gruber. No, Hans... oh, man. Gede? Egede?
He from the windmill place? Holland?
No.
Okay. I said whirlpool place. Moose Island or Deer
Moose
Island.
Come on. Moose Island. That's hilarious.
Deer Island.
That's great. He claimed to see the Kraken, but he said it was similar to that of the Hufgufa. Hufgufa? Yeah. Which is interesting because wasn't that more of a turtle or something like that, or whale kind of thing?
It was kind of like a whale, I guess is what they said. It was like, but it was stinky.
That's right.
Yeah. It was misty.
Yeah.
It was real big.
Sea mist. Yeah, as said earlier, check that episode out. In 1735, Swedish botanist, physician, and zoologist Carl Linnaeus published his first edition of his Systema Naturae.
Sure he did. Good for him.
In it, he gives the Kraken a taxonomic classification as a cephalopod. So,
An octopus.
Octopus or a squid. And apparently also maybe a cuttlefish. Cuttlefish apparently is a cephalopod.
The only thing I know what cuttlefish is from South Park.
South Park.
I think.
I was going to bring that up, dude.
Again, all of our knowledge comes from terrible sitcoms.
That episode where they didn't read like the Apple agreement thing, and they had to become like a human centipede.
Yeah, human centipede. Human centipede.
Human centipede, yeah. Cuttlefish, yeah. He gave it a designation, the scientific name Microsmus marinus.
Were you there that time we went to that seafood buffet and they had like deep fried like little octopuses? They're like this big. It was whenever someone said, "Hey, remember the other one of our friends was all sunburned, and our one friend was like, "Oh, you're allergic to seafood."
Yeah.
Everybody was like,
When we were at the beach that one year, yeah.
Yeah. And then we were eating those
like calamari.
I think, but they were like the entire thing.
Oh God.
They're like little baby octopuses. They were deep fried.
Jeez. I remember my dad brought home calamari once.
It's delicious.
I didn't try it then. I tried it later, but I remember I brought it into school for like show and tell or something like that. I don't know.
Here's our leftovers.
Yeah, it's like, you really want to do that? I was like, yeah, I don't think I've ever brought it in because then keeping in the fridge for long and up stinking. It was, dead fish, old dead fish.
Seafood or for
I thought about that. I don't know why.
For show and tell, I bring in our leftovers.
You're welcome. But you can't eat it. There's not enough. It
stinks a lot.
So he mentions the Kraken in the book, but he ends up omitting it in later editions. But maybe he's kind of on the fence about it. But he said it was a unique monster and that it's said to inhabit the season of Norway, but I've not seen this animal. We never actually saw the thing, just like put it in his book, but then later took it out. In 1755, a Danish bishop and historian by the name of Erik Pontoppidan. Did you bring that guy up? No,
who? Eric who?
Erik Pontoppidan.
Never.
Publishes a book called The Natural History of Norway. And he gives the most detailed description up to that time of the Kraken, greatly distinguishing from the other legendary sea creatures. He describes the Kraken as round, flat, and full of arms or branches. It measures 1.5 miles across and was the largest and most surprising of animal creation. So he's, right there, he's describing an octopus or a squid.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, those things get big.
Yeah.
And they're terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen like a live octopus like at a zoo or something? Or aquarium?
They're really smart. Really smart too.
I mean, I always say this when people say things about animals being smart. I'm like, what? Did they invent guns? Okay, then we'll talk. then who's the smartest?
They don't have opposable thumbs.
Let's not talk about who's smart, okay? Don't tell me that.
But apparently they're intelligent.
Sure, everybody's so intelligent.
No, but they're able, I remember saying like they're able to like pick locks and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
Sure,
oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, just like that talking monkey too that they had that did sign language and stuff,
Sure, yeah.
Eric, wait. Octopuses are terrifying when you look at them in person.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, oh, God, like,
yeah.
All this
the fluidity of them.
Yeah, the way they move is what's
yeah.
weird. And
the suction cups sticking to you, that'd be terrifying.
Yeah. Imagine just being like doing that to your face and you're like, okay, bro. Like, and like their mouth, the little like pincher
like
mouth.
A beak.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I'd punch that thing so hard. There's like that movie, I think it was on Netflix, about some guy that was like friends with an octopus.
Yeah, I remember I was told to watch. I started watching and I'd stopped. Not because
this is stupid.
Not because I hated it or anything like that, but I was like, I don't feel like
I don't want to be friends with anything in the ocean. Nothing. Yeah. Not even a Kraken. If someone's like, hey, you want a Kraken for pet? I'm like, go to hell.
If I could be friends with a Kraken, that'd be awesome.
No.
That'd be great.
Would it be talking to me?
I don't know. If we could be friends with a Kraken, I'm sure.
We're
talking about the realm of possibility.
Yeah, like if a friend is like, is he going to crash on my house? I'm like, dude, you got to get out of here.
Like, crash on your couch.
He's not borrowing money
from me.
You've been
a week, man. Come on.
Yeah, you're stinking up this place.
Yeah. You keep farting up.
Yeah.
Farting
all
up
the fish
stuff.
keep flying around here.
Keep crapping out fish on my couch, man.
I don't want to be friends with anything in the ocean. Nothing.
Nothing.
Drain it. I don't care. Murder all that stuff. I don't care. Like, I understand it's so good for the earth. Like, whatever. I don't care. Like, I got it. Like, I'm not saying you should actually drown. I'm saying I'm not friends with. I don't want to be friends with anything in the ocean. I like waves. They're cool. I hang out with the waves.
Sure, waves are cool.
Yeah, waves are fun. But anything underneath the water, no.
Yeah.
I can't see it. I don't want to know it's there. I mean, I don't want to be there.
Yeah, I don't want to be like anything deep, man. It's
hell that no. There's a lot of weird stuff in the ocean.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Things we haven't even seen yet,
and I don't want to see it. Drain it.
Drain.
That's my platform for
drain it.
For my, when I'm running for office. Drain the ocean. No friends with sea animals.
Paid for by mysterious pals.
Yeah.
All right. So Eric goes on to say, here and there, a larger rising observed like sandbanks on which various kinds of small fishes are seen continuously leaping about till they roll off in the water from the size of it. At last, several bright points or horns appear, which grow thicker and thicker the higher they rise above the surface of the water. These horns stand as high and as large as a mass of middle-sized vessels. Emerging from their depths with a reportedly strong, peculiar scent, The kraken opens its arms or horns, seizes and swallows his welcome guests, and converts them, after the due time, by digestion, into a bait for other fish of the same kind. And as he apparently cites fishermen who have seen this thing, and they kind of reiterate that bad omen of if you see a bunch of fish appearing, all of a sudden, like, that means a kraken's coming.
Yeah, well, it converts them. I don't like when you say that it converts them. That's terrible.
Converts them.
I'm like, that's just unfortunate.
Or converts them to like some weird
that's why we should drain the ocean.
No kraken cults, okay? Yeah. So this gets published. All these things get published and start seeing notoriety around the world. And because of this, popular works of fiction are being written about the kraken, furthering its legend. It was mentioned, like I said earlier, in that poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson. I was in Herman Melville's Moby Dick, Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and H.P. Lovecraft's Call of Cthulhu, which I've never read any of that stuff.
Hell no. Those are like whenever books were like the only form of entertainment. Yeah. You're like,
I guess I'll read today.
It's like a 7,000 page book. I'm like, I got literally nothing else going on. I guess I could read this, but like, I'm not going to do that now.
Yeah.
You know what? They've invented better books. They're called movies and TV shows and podcasts.
The talkies.
Yeah.
1781, Swedish author Jacob Wallenberg published his book, My Son on the Galley. It's a book about his travels from Scandinavia to the Far East in 1770. In it, he describes a kraken as follows. Gradually, kraken ascends to the surface. And when he's at 10 to 12 fathoms, apparently I looked this up, a fathom is 6 feet.
Cool. Because it's like, because what's that one? I think it's like 20,000 leagues.
Yeah.
How many fathoms? So what's a league?
Oh, crap.
A fathom is 6 feet.
Yeah.
Is a league and a fathom like the same unit of measurement, like the same family?
Yeah. Oh, geez, here we go. League, any of several European units of measurement ranging from 2.4 to 4.6 statute miles.
That's a lot of miles. 20,000 leagues? That's like...
In English-speaking countries, the land league is generally accepted as 3 statute miles. What? All right,
so 20,000 times 3 is 60,000 miles, pretty much. 60,000 miles under the sea? Isn't that out in space? Jules Verne was a liar.
So 1 fathom is equal to 0.000329 blah, 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 nautical leagues.
So what's a nautical league again? 3 miles. No.
Nautical league is 3 miles, English-speaking countries.
Okay, so 60,000 miles under the sea.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because he's a liar.
Well, it's fiction also. Because he's a liar. Again, drain the ocean.
Drain the ocean, and then you know what? Cancel Jules Verne.
Dox him.
Yeah. Get him out of here. Burn his books. Ban those books. Let's get rid of those books. Those are the bad ones. The lying ones that lie on the front cover. Chris 2024.
Not my ocean.
Drain the ocean. In prison, Jules Verne.
So when
is he dead?
Oh yeah,
was he real?
Jules Verne, a real person who wrote a book.
So he's an actual guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just like, is it like a pseudonym?
Oh yeah. I think right.
Like Jules Verne, there's like 40 people just typing on.
So again, gradually kraken ascends to the surface, and when it's at 10 to 12 fathoms, the boats had better move out of its vicinity, as he will shortly thereafter burst up like a floating island, spurting water from his dreadful nostrils and making ring waves around him, which can reach many miles. But see, apparently in this book, the kraken was crab-like.
Okay.
Which is interesting. Maybe that's where the crabfish thing comes from. Is another name for the kraken.
So basically, from what I'm getting from all these different cultures, kraken is just is not actually an octopus. Some people think it is, some people don't.
I think generally
it's been changed throughout history.
Yeah, but generally I think it's considered an octopus or a squid.
Now.
Yeah.
But be back in...
But I mean, right around like the, 1700s, 1800s, people were saying it's a squid or
Okay.
octopus-like kind of thing. Norwegian natural. Oh, here we go. In 1853, giant cephalopod was found on a Danish beach. Norwegian naturalist.
Just a guy.
He studies nature, or like the
Yeah.
history of a student of natural history or expert of natural.
Natural history. So just a historian. Like, but natural.
But like animal stuff.
So wait, is like when we talk about history, we usually mean like
Human history.
right. So historian is more human, like anthropology.
Anthropological.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go.
Oh, there you go. So a naturalist is a historian, but on natural history, like
I think so. Yeah.
nature.
Yeah.
Like
Animals and stuff like that.
ooh, okay.
Will that also be a zoologist? I don't know.
I think the zoologist is like someone who like current, like not ancient ones, like current ones.
All right.
Like I'm gonna tell this is how this African elephant eats.
Norwegian naturalist. Oh boy. Geppetto Steenstrup.
Nice. Say it real quick and no one will know.
Geppetto Steenstrup. He took the beak of the squid. The rest of it was cut up for bait, apparently, and he used it to describe the squid. Describe the squid species as, goodness, Architethus ducks. D-U-X.
Is it duck?
Architethus ducks. He's made a new giant species of squid.
Okay.
Giant squid species, sorry. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, what does that even mean? So I looked it up. I don't know if this website is right. I have it on here. Apparently it translates to most important squid leader. It's like from Greek and Latin.
Okay.
Seems silly, but whatever.
As silly as hell.
Yeah. Right around this time, whaling was huge. Whalers hunting sperm whale reported long arms or tentacles being regurgitated by the whales upon their death. Nice.
There you go.
That's a nice sight.
You know what's a weird sight? A narwhal. That'd be a weird sight.
Yeah, it has a horn.
That big tooth.
Is that what it is? A tooth?
I think so. Yes, I don't think it's a horn. I think it's a tooth. Now listen, I'm not a zoologist or naturalist. Naturalist.
A naturalogist.
An ocean natural. I'm not into that type of stuff.
Horn. Oh wait, no.
Narwhal.
There we go.
But like whales in general are terrifying. They're so big.
Oh yeah.
They seem nice. They seem like
I've seen like those footage of people out in the ocean like kayaks or canoeing and the whale just comes right by them. Like they kind of come out of the water a little bit. I'm like,
no. What are those like whales that are like slamming into boats in like North Sea maybe somewhere around here? But like also, like if I'm gonna hang out with something in the ocean, I'd hang out with a whale. I guess I want to be friends with it. I like go to the bar and be like, all right, bro, But like they're so big, they seem slippery.
Narwhal horns for sale. Jeez, man.
No, we don't want that.
No. It's a tusk.
Which is like, okay, what's a tusk?
Narwhal horn, actually a tooth.
Is it a tooth?
Yeah, a large tooth.
Yeah.
With sensory capability and up to 10 million nerve endings inside. Oh my God. Good Lord.
How long can they be? How long is it?
How long is it?
Yeah. That's an ugly ass fish. Like something got jacked up in that line.
That was a weird evolution right there. I tell you what. What? 17. Oh, that's 17 feet is a whole
20,000 leagues. Oh boy.
Here we go. Fake news.
What is it? 17 feet?
Well, it can be up to 70 feet. The whale itself. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So this only helped further legends of Kraken, of the Kraken. For decades,
Johnny Krakens.
For Johnny Krakens. For decades later, and even today, large squids are being caught and are documented. That was a squid that was washed up on the sea. I think that one was, what was it like that one? I don't know. That's right. It was all cut up.
Still, like anything more, if you see an octopus or a squid that's like more than.
Even like giant jellyfish, man. Those are really even like terrifying.
I think the most poisonous thing in the world I read recently was like a jellyfish, like a specific type of jellyfish.
So, I believe that.
Jellyfish suck.
Yeah.
And murder those things, too. That's why we should drain the ocean. There's a lot of stuff out there that's gross and killing.
It's just because they're gross.
Sharks.
Just because they're gross.
Ooh, yeah. Sharks are weird.
Drain it.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, whales are jellyfish, whales. I even think about it gives me the willies.
Yeah.
The willy.
I don't know.
You get the willies.
Do you think it was just named after some guy named Will? Like, dude, you're being real creepy.
Yeah,
call it the
Willies. It has to be that.
Be. Like, what was it in Kingpin? Munson. Did you ever see Kingpin? Where he's a bowler.
I remember like it, but I don't remember. I know I've seen it, but I don't remember anything about it. I just remember the one guy.
Roy Munson, and they turn like a bad thing that happens to somebody in it's called being Munsoned or something like that. All right, so what do you think this thing is, if it's even anything at all?
Like, what are people seeing?
Yeah,
I would imagine it's just a giant whale.
Okay,
but then you get all these other stories of like an octopus. Like,
yeah,
how does that get into it? I don't know. It seems like it's a multiple things,
right?
But the reason why these like mythology of like monsters, because I like to see what other places in the world think of,
right?
And like how they kind of the connection between them. So like, how did it go from like what you originally talked about,
right, to
like an octopus,
right? Because this is a thing that's developed, or its origins are in Scandinavian area. So are these guys just seeing these? Not, I guess they probably were mostly guys. Are these sailors and fishermen mostly just seeing a squid that they've never even, like a squid or octopus? And like, well, I don't know what that is. Never seen one of those things before. And they're just like, don't really know how to identify it because they've never seen one.
Yeah. And then we also say like some people saw it as a giant crab.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people saw it as like a fish.
But like we're getting like I can see at the beginning, and if like some of these places are just now, but people in Scandinavia, they're sea people. Like, you think they would have come across, maybe like, I don't know, maybe they didn't get out that far on the sea just yet to see a squid, or because apparently squids are pretty elusive. Maybe they never actually saw one. They're kind of like just now starting seafaring, but I feel like they would have already done that before this. Anyways, that's, it starts on 1100s, and they kind of
1100 is a long time for that.
And it kind of goes like, becomes a popular thing, like, because those books that I mentioned are very popular, like Moby Dick and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or whatever it was called, the fake one.
I think 20,000 Lies Under the Sea is more like it.
It becomes a worldwide kind of thing, which I think is interesting. But you also have these sailors and fishermen, or just seamen in general, just like, there's something out there, we don't know what it is. We've never seen it before. These stories get told, but it seems mostly like people believe it is like a big octopus or squid or something.
Okay, I got reported back for willies. Okay, so the meaning is a spell of nervousness. Okay, since 1896, stems from the woolies.
Woolies.
Yeah, a term for nervousness or uneasy, probably in reference to the physical itchiness of wool.
That was fun.
So I guess like there's other people think that it's from 1846 ballet, that the stage is flooded by the Willis, or spooky, ephemeral, beautiful but evil ghosts. Watching the Willis is meant to give you the willies. The woolies or the willies?
Woolies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a guy named Willie, like murdered people.
Some perv.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting because like squids, apparently large squids have been documented all the way back since the 4th century BCE.
And we're just finding proof of them in recent history.
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently Aristotle saw one and cataloged it. His was 2 meters in length. And then Pliny the Elder was in the 1st century CE. He's a Roman. His one he cataloged was 9 meters.
Pretty big.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that like that was known to them. Like it was a kind of a common, not a common thing, but like they knew of these things. They were like that big.
I mean, if a meter is 3 feet.
Yeah, right. So 2 meters isn't going to take down a ship, but like 9 meters, I mean, that's pretty big.
That's insanely big.
Yeah.
That's like as big as a ship.
Right.
Well, not as big as a ship, but I mean, that's a pretty big.
Yeah. It's something that's known, but I think it's kind of interesting that like out, the Nordic or Scandinavian area, like these people had to have known of these things, right? Imagine. It's like, I don't know. It's weird.
Or again, they were seeing whales and then they caught an octopus. We're like, oh, that's its mom. That type of thing, maybe.
So the largest, try this word again. This is a classification of a giant squid. Architeuthis. Recorded was 18 meters long. That's 59 feet.
Oh my God.
And most of the ones that were caught aren't nearly that size.
If that thing touched me, I'd murder myself.
God. Yeah.
Like, no. How big was it again?
59 feet long. Squid.
That's
giant squid.
That's, I mean, imagine how thick that boy would be.
Apparently there's 20 different classifications of giant squids too. And there's like, I think Archer, whatever, is supposed to be the biggest one. Yeah, because 59 feet.
No.
But most ones that caught are not nearly that size though. And again,
yeah, because the big ones would take down the whole ship that it caught.
Right, yeah. I guess they're really, really elusive. Most times, one of the things I was reading, like the only times people see squids to begin with is because they float on the water when they're dead.
Okay.
It's like they're so fast and like they just want to be kind of left alone. They're also like really far down there. 20,000 leagues down there. All right. You think it might have been a whale or something like that? We're going to get into theories here.
Okay, so if you're talking about like these people throughout history seeing something, it had to be
that. It seems. I mean, what they're describing seems like, at least as time went on, it seemed
fishermen
like
are catching
a cephalopod kind of.
Are catching a giant squid that's pretty big, and they're like, "Oh, this is a small one," type of thing, maybe, or maybe they exaggerated that type of thing where they're repeating it in the bar, and it's like getting bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah.
So, I think it's one of those, and then eventually it gets so big, it's our ship went my buddy's ship went down because this giant cephalopod or this giant kraken thing took it.
Yeah. All right, here we go with theories. We're going crazy though.
Aliens.
Yep. I keep seeing that. I've seen it. I think it's mostly a joke. I would hope. But I've heard a lot of people like, I see memes saying like octopuses or squids have to be aliens. Like, have to be. Because they're just so weird looking. And there's nothing really out there like that.
They're so smart.
Maybe they just don't like humans. They want to kill us all.
But they're stuck in the water like, oh man.
Yeah. They landed and can't get out of the water.
Yeah.
So there you go, aliens. Let's get that one out of the way real quick. So in 2011, this is the next theory here, a paleontologist named Mark McMenamin.
Stumbling over the American name?
There's so many M's. Mark McMenamin.
Mark M.
proposed, M&M proposed the existence of a kraken. He proposed the existence of a kraken based on the peculiar arrangement of an ichthyosaur vertebrae found in Nevada. Now, this is something the ichthyosaur was part of the Triassic period, which is around 200 million years ago. So,
too long.
Yeah. His theory suggests a giant cephalopod, like a squid or an octopus, played with its prey. So he's thinking this squid or octopus, this kraken thing from 200 million years ago, killed this ichthyosaur and arranges bones in a way that, like, I guess maybe like squids and octopuses do with like their prey. Like they kind of like
be able to fort with it or something.
But like the way the bones were like this dinosaur's, I think it's like a dolphin. I looked it up, kind of like a dolphin almost, or like a whale. The way the bones were found, they were displayed in such a manner that they weren't like together. Like most bones are found, they're kind of like put in a weird pattern.
But wait,
this guy is saying that a kraken might have done this. A kraken, quotes, this an old massive squid or octopus that they haven't quite discovered yet might have killed this thing and like kind of ornated the bones in a certain way, like a symbolic kind of way.
Wait, is that
apparently everyone's just like, this guy's a joke.
Because like I saw something recently, like watching I didn't read a document. I listened to a documentary, I watched a documentary about how it's like that thing we see on TikTok now, like how there's like that theory, or not, I'm not even going to say that it's a theory because it's so stupid. I just reach through the phone and smack people in the face. Like if dinosaurs are real, why is our bones everywhere? Like There's people that don't think like dinosaurs are actually real, that they're fake, and like those people are so stupid. You're out there. Anyway, you and Jules Verne.
Jules Verne.
Like that type of thing is so insane, but the science behind like actually making fossils is so crazy that it's so like it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
For like the situation of how the fossils get made. So this thing was a fossil, or was it just the bones they found?
It was a fossil.
Fossilized. So it has to be like
the bones though that were in the fossil were like arranged in a weird way. Like they didn't like, but that could be for any reason, you know?
Yeah.
This guy's saying like, oh, maybe there's an ancient kraken that's part of the Triassic period. Recently, old Double M presented new evidence, including a second instance of unusual bone arrangements and a fossil he believes to be a beak of a giant squid or octopus. However, though many scientists remain convinced, arguing that the natural process or scavengers could explain the bone patterns without invoking the mythical sea monster.
Yeah.
Right?
Obviously.
So even if the thing was a real thing back then, it wouldn't be around now, 200 million years later or more.
You know, was that Loch Ness guy? I mean, the Loch Ness monster. Mm. He's still around, right?
He's still floating around in the lake. All right, so now we've got giant octopus. Because the most art I've seen, it's usually depicted as being an octopus, like the head shape. Because the head shape of an octopus is like more rounder.
Yeah.
And like a squid is more like a triangle kind of pyramid looking kind of thing.
Like a torpedo.
And longer, yeah.
I think a squid doesn't have as long arms as an octopus.
It has two really long ones, but then it has like tinier ones.
Yeah. Squids suck.
Yeah.
Octopus is way better.
But it's interesting because most art depicts it as being an octopus, which I think is interesting. Apparently, and I guess this has been highly debated and doubted. The Guinness Book of World Records claim that the largest specimen ever found of an octopus was 600 pounds with a tentacle span of 30 feet. This was a giant Pacific octopus, which is a real breed of octopus or category. But 600 pounds? 30 feet?
30 feet's hell, but like 600 pounds ain't that bad.
Man.
Look at those, like a tortoise, like one of those Galapagos tortoise, like those things are terrifying. I mean, they're cool. That's something I could hang out with, you know, ride that thing around. But those things are giant.
Yeah. I know they live like hundreds of years or something like that, crazy like that.
Not a naturalist. But like, those are pretty heavy too, you know, like, I think about some land animals that can get to be that heavy, you know, elephants and stuff. So like, being in the ocean, I mean, a blue whale was gigantic. Yeah. So it's not that far off.
And I saw something too. Let me a second, real quick. There's a theory that says the Kraken sightings could be attributed to tectonic activity and seismic events. According to this perspective, earthquakes or underwater volcanic eruptions may disturb the oceanic equilibrium, prompting massive creatures to ascend from the deep.
Okay.
This theory proposes that such events could temporarily displace deep sea dwellers, bring them closer to the surface, and thereby increasing the likelihood of encounters with seafarers. Because there has to be some massive things down there, I would imagine. If you're able to live down there, like that close to the ocean
amount of
floor,
pressure and stuff,
you'd have to be like pretty big and sturdy.
Yeah.
Right? Or really tiny, I guess. Oh yeah, with that.
Either or, I imagine. I don't really know. I'm not a.
But there's like no light down there. Remember how ugly those things that live down there are?
That's why I drain and murder them all. Like, yes. And we talked about this before, like all the stuff that's dead is just on the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. Oh yeah. That'd be terrible.
And they found like, they'll occasionally find sperm whales and they'll have like these massive like marks on them. Cause I guess like squid and whales are like natural enemies.
Oh, okay.
I think it's kind of interesting.
Squid or?
Squid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. Imagine that battle.
But so that one that supposedly weighs 600 pounds, it's a breed of octopus called the giant Pacific octopus, which is real. But they normally only usually weigh around 33 pounds with an arm span up to 14 feet.
Pretty big.
And it's still big, man.
Maybe it's one of those things like a weight it whenever it was like right out of the water, so it's all like floated like with water, and then they like let it drain out. They're like, okay, wait now.
You gotta drain out the ink from it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do that. The octopus does that.
Yep. This next one seems to be the most
realistic.
Realistic, yeah. What most scientists think is what these people were saying, and just didn't quite understand it. A giant squid. which is what that architip whatever was.
The what?
The
Archipithecus.
Architeuthis.
Okay.
Architeuthis.
I think Archipithecus is like a Bigfoot. I don't know. Anyway.
There's 20 different breeds of these giant type squids, and maybe like people were seeing different classes of those, like 20 different things. So that's why there might be kind of varying things of why, like what they were seeing, how they might be depicted differently. Like I said, like the largest one caught was 59 feet, which is insane.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yes. You meant like, that's the most common, like believed thing that people think. Scientists think this is what people were saying. They just didn't understand that. Like, oh, it's actually just a squid, because they might have be used to seeing normal sized squids, but then they see something like that and they're like, oh, that big, possibly that big. Like crap.
So what do you?
Kraken.
So is that all your theories?
Yeah, one more.
Okay.
We got a couple more here.
Okay.
There's something called a colossal squid.
Oh God.
It's bigger than a giant squid apparently. In 2007, a New Zealand fisherman caught a female specimen that's 13.8 feet in length with a wet weight of 1,036 pounds.
Wait, what? 2007?
So apparently they don't get as long, but the colossal squids are just much heavier and like
It's
bigger.
beefier.
Yeah.
They work out more.
Yeah. They're down there just taking
pumping
roids.
it. Yeah.
Some researchers note that the colossal squid's body and tentacles combined could measure up to 45.9 feet and weigh more than 1,100 pounds.
That's equally horrible.
It's insane, yeah.
Now, if you tell me the next one is the mega ultra squid is another one that's real, that's like.
But back to the Triassic thing, because there were like megalodon, like was it megalodon, like that massive shark that was like huge?
Yeah. Like Jason Statham fought him.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Meg. They're
stupid.
I imagine if there's something that big shark-wise, why couldn't there be something that big as big octopus or?
Yes.
But I don't think it's that crazy. But I think the idea of like he's like, oh, the bones are this other thing were arranged in such a way, but also like that's 200 plus million years ago, so this thing's still not down there.
Does a squid have a skeleton?
Ooh, yeah, right. No crap.
Oh, the way they move, I'd imagine they don't have one. So like, we don't have the records of those things.
Right. Oh, I gotta look this up.
Because nothing is like sticking around whenever they get fossilized or whatever.
Except their beaks.
Oh yeah, so maybe they found a giant beak.
I think the guy said he apparently found one, so he thinks it's a giant beak.
Or just two rocks. He's an idiot. Is that Mike?
Yeah, double M.
Yeah.
Do cephalopod have skeleton? Oh yeah, they're invertebrates, so they don't have a backbone or internal skeleton.
Yeah,
Jesus,
so nothing's sticking around.
Right.
But we don't even know how big. They could have been the biggest things they could have been.
Well, maybe double A ain't so dumb after all.
Dumb over there.
I'm a dumb.
Yeah. Joel's Vern over here. A liar and he's dumb. But like, I mean, could you imagine? There could have been ones that were bigger than the biggest ocean. I mean, like they said,
at
like
one point there would be something that big down there, but it wouldn't be still alive today, I would imagine.
But I mean, like, you think about like the amount of like giant fish they talk about, like how big things were in that Triassic, like those different times. There had to be invertebrates that were even just as big as those things.
And like you said, like we're just now getting squids, like capturing squids on like
videos.
The videos of them, like big ones. It's like maybe there's bigger stuff down there, bigger squids and bigger octopus down there. And like that one thing I read, maybe something happened underneath the ocean waters. So these things had to come to the surface. I don't know. So that's like possibly actual animals these things might have been seeing. But going back to that poem I read, the Tennyson one.
Sonnet,
yes, thank you. Apparently he wasn't actually like, okay, is that a metaphor, allegory, or simile where you're talking about one thing but you mean another thing?
No idea.
I tried looking it up when I was doing this. I was like, I still don't understand any of these things. I'm going to say a metaphor.
Listen.
I should have.
Language arts.
She's probably in bed right now, so I could say we
English
text our friend,
arts,
but
like
definitely
any of those
sleeping.
things that whatever they call it, the topic. I have no clue. Like, I have no idea. I barely can use punctuation correctly.
We can't even say most words.
I don't even know where you put commas. Like, I don't even, periods are like out the window.
Right. So clearly he's
every end sentence I write has an exclamation point.
Yeah. There's a lot I don't understand from the sonnet, but clearly there's a mention of a kraken living underneath the ocean floor. Comes up at some point. But I like Googled, like, what does this actually mean? And a lot of people were saying how it's dealt with the author Tennyson's own like fears. People were like, oh, it's a changing of society, that like advancement of society going on at the time when he wrote it. Like I think the Industrial Revolution was going around this time.
Oh, Industrial Revolution.
Yeah. Maybe it's like it's personifying the fear of maybe what he was going through, maybe what other people were going through. So maybe going back to these fishermen and seamen, it's the fear of the unknown. Like, so they don't really quite, and I think we talked about this before with other things, and especially last week. They're seeing something, but they don't know how to identify it, or they're putting their own projections on like the fear of the sea, the abyssal, like the fear of the abyss, the uncertainty. They're maybe projecting these things, making it bigger than, blowing out of proportion kind of thing. So they might have actually saw a squid or an octopus and just like their own fear projected it, intensified it. Something along those lines, I guess.
I think it's common theories around like how we can't explain. We always have to think something that has to be explainable through something caused this tragedy.
Right.
It wasn't just the earth or natural forces. It was like there had to be a monster that caused my husband's ship.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
It wasn't just the ocean or like bad sailing or like the winds or the storm. It had to be a god or like they personify everything.
Yes. Maybe there's like a moral, like you even said, like you said it, which I didn't even think of, like with the fishing, like maybe it's an overfishing kind of thing. Like don't overfish, otherwise,
Yeah, don't be too greedy.
Yeah, because that might be a metaphor or allegory or whatever
disaster.
for either like your family or for like the country itself, like your country. Or
cautionary tale.
Yes, yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a cautionary tale.
So is that all the theories?
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I think they definitely were seeing a squid or something like that. Now
a big squid.
Yeah. Now was it actually attacking their ship? No. Was it actually like grabbing people and drowning them and like eating them and killing them? No. But I think.
Or was like a guy was like, I don't like him. Push him over. Like, oh, the squid got him.
Yeah. But it is interesting though, because squid and octopus, they do like muddy up the water sometimes. Like
ink.
Yeah. So maybe like I do think they were seeing something like that down there. But again, what was an actual kraken, a sea monster, killing people and drowning them and creating these vortexes or not vortex, maelstroms. No.
I think it's one of those things where you have a story that the fishermen come back in the port or something, and they're telling a story, and every time it's retold, it gets bigger and bigger,
like
bigger.
A game of telephone.
And every time they tell it, it gets bigger, and it's like, oh, my uncle fought this thing, and it's back, and
I rode on top of a kraken.
And so you have the one guy saying that, one guy saying there's no way to prove these stories, but like again, there's no TV, there's no video games. People are just bored sitting in a bar.
Right.
They were just on a boat for 9 months or whatever, and so they're gonna make up stories. They're gonna think of things. They're gonna exaggerate what they saw, and it's gonna compound over time.
What do you think about these learned men though who claim to have seen these things? Like some of them who are like religious people. I guess one was a missionary, one was actually like priest, I think, and then one was a writer who claimed to have seen these things. Like
the one you said was like 36 feet or something.
Yeah.
That I think they probably just so happened to see a giant squid.
Right.
Maybe it wasn't. It was again maybe exaggerated.
Right. Maybe a dead one floated
And maybe the way it was in the water, whenever they brought it to shore and it was like all clumped up, they're like, that's probably 36 feet. Like, again, exaggeration.
Right.
When you retell a story, you're going to embellish.
Sure.
The combination of embellishment, the tall tales, the repeating history. I think the cautionary tales also plays into this as well.
Yeah.
The idea of overfishing and because that was something they dealt with whenever your only food source is the ocean.
Right. And like we're talking Scandinavia, so it's like they're all seafaring. Like that's a seafaring society.
Yeah, and they're trying to be like, you need
They're
to.
dependent on this.
Yeah, like if you overfish this area, you're gonna screw us.
Right. That's interesting, man. I didn't think about that. I do think they were definitely seeing octopus or squid out there, but like.
Yeah, I think you're probably seeing big ones.
Yeah.
They were exaggerating how actual big it was.
Right.
I mean, you see the thing. If you saw an actual, like, you're in nature, you see, and like especially the Northern Ocean, I think there's a lot of clear water. So you probably see it at a weird angle from a boat, and you're seeing this gigantic shadow of a thing coming through the water, and you're exaggerating how big it is. Maybe
optical illusion kind of thing based on like the water itself refracting light or whatever.
And maybe the boat gets tossed a little bit, or maybe a whale swims by and hits the boat or something. Like they're interacting with the whales in some cases, I would imagine, especially whaling ships.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's a combination of a lot of different things, but also seeing something that could be 10 feet long from a ship.
Right.
Like an octopus.
Yeah.
A squid. They look so gross as it is.
Because they're aliens.
Right. So is that what you're saying? It's an alien. That's what you're supporting. Okay. That's what you're going. Okay.
That's why we got to drain the ocean.
Drain the ocean and just
kill those aliens.
Get them out of here. Get them off my land.
Yeah.
It's not in this country. Ship them off back to where they came from. Just launch them into space. Drain the ocean, gather them up, and launch them into space. You didn't even drain the ocean, right? What would you do with that water? I'm just thinking of the science behind that.
Yeah.
Like, where would you put the water? You wouldn't. You put it on the other side?
It'd go into what's the...
You burn it all up?
What's that thing called where people like believe there's like something in the center of the earth, like animals and stuff like that?
Hollow Earth?
Hollow Earth, yeah.
Just drains
all those people and kills
them. Well, there's
them.
oceans down there too.
Is there?
I mean, they think there's actually been documented like, especially in recent history, like people finding like, oh, there's a whole ocean underneath the water. It's like in the rock, it's like a cavity that's filled up with water. So like, I think there's something. It's not like a land down there, but there's like little cave systems and stuff that are around.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean, I was watching something recently about what's called the Adventure Twins, or like this YouTube channel. These guys that go like a lot of cave dwelling, like caving, and they go to like the deepest hole in America or something, and it's like a straight drop, and they like descend it. And it's just like this big, I think it's limestone opening in the earth, and it's just like straight down, and like you're like, how? And it's like water over time dripping into this thing and just created it.
Yeah, roads.
Insane. The earth is old. There's a lot of weird stuff under the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about most areas in the United States, especially Eastern United States, just mined.
Right.
All the coal mining and stuff that went on.
There's like a weird percentage of what we actually like charted in the ocean, or like what?
The ocean. That's not even give me a start on that place.
Of what have actually was explored, not charted. I guess charted would do.
Yeah, we don't know anything. Humans are really good at knowing nothing. I'll tell you that.
So the first thing came up. Humans have explored only 5% of the world's ocean. That is terrifying.
But again, there's a lot of ocean out there.
Well, yeah, right.
And plus, most of it's just empty. It's just water.
Yeah, right. But
probably 80% of the ocean is just water.
Well, 80% of the ocean.
Like 80% of the area of the ocean. Yeah. Like,
I think
you figure the first like 100 feet.
Yeah,
it's just water, but like all the stuff at the very bottom.
Weird stuff down there.
Because they do like they've mapped the bottom of the ocean in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Not specifically, but like think how many cables of internet are going across the ocean.
Yeah, right.
I think that's crazy. That's even crazier. Like all these ships that are specifically made to drop wires across the ocean.
Yeah, that's weird.
And like repair them. There's like I was reading this article about a ship in like Japan. Like there's like a bunch of, so apparently there's like a lot of ships around the world that lay cables, but there's only a few of them that actually fix the cables when something gets messed up. So like whenever the big earthquake in Japan, like 2011,
they make stupid money doing that.
Not really.
Look, if they're the ones doing it,
they're the ones fixing them.
Yeah,
those ones don't get paid as the ones that like the companies, but like a group of like, they're just like, my job is to go. Apparently there's like less and less every year of people that want to do this, and they basically are just in this big ship. They go out and they bring up, or I don't know if they bring it up or they go down and fix it, the wire whenever something happens. So when that big earthquake happened, they had to go make sure that the people still communicate. Yeah, with like the rest of the world. I think there's this other thing about like how Africa only has a certain like only a few of those cables going into the continent,
Okay.
and like even then, like terrorists and stuff that like cut them, like because they want to control information.
Yeah, right.
So, ocean is weird. If you just drain it, we could see the wires. We could fix them then. It's easier to just walk right down there. Yeah. All right. Well, Jordan, thank you for bringing this information, this story about the Kraken for the summer of sea monsters.
Woo!
And I'm so excited to be with you today to hear this story. If you want to help us out, please give us a follow, give us a like, whatever you want to do, whether you're listening on podcast feeds, and we're on all of them pretty much. If you're watching on YouTube, you can listen to us. If you're listening, you can watch us. There's links in the show notes. You want to follow us on any social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on TikTok too for some reason. Just go to mysteriouspaths.com if you want to if you'd rather just get the links that way. And you can also send us an email if you have any ideas for episodes or if you have any questions.
Mm-hmm. Or you just hate us.
You want to tell us how stupid we are, how we can't pronounce crap. You can leave us a comment. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everybody. You hate someone, send them some link. You hate any person.
They can listen to our tangents.
Yeah. Just send them a link and they'll hear us. Anyway, thank you, Jordan, for being here. We will see you next time. Same mysterious place, same mysterious face, same mysterious topics. I really gotta think of a way to close the show.
What have you been doing?
I don't know.
You say stay mysterious, right?
Stay mysterious.
Yeah.
That works. All right, everybody. Good night.
Bye.